I saved my girlfriend's building from burning down, but she got mad I filed a police report. Then she canceled my flight and went on vacation with her ex posted by You Good Samaritan B and E. This weekend I was staying over at my girlfriend's apartment. It is a single house split into 2 apartments. Around 8 a.m. I smelled bacon and went downstairs to see if she was cooking some. She had just bought a quarter pig from a local farmer, so I was really hoping this was some of the bacon. Sadly it wasn't and must have been the apartment next door. About 11 o'clock, we hear an alarm going off next door and don't think much of it. The neighbor 20M is always around odd hours and staying up late, so my girlfriend and I just thought it was just him sleeping through his alarm clock. Shortly after this, I got up to do some laundry and smelled smoke. I realized the alarm is not an alarm clock, but the smoke detector going off for the last 10 minutes. I immediately ran around the house to the side door leading to the other apartment to see if I could get in. Through the window, I could see smoke, and also someone in the other room passed out on the couch. I tried banging on the door to wake the neighbor, but he didn't budge. I am a locksmith and had my picks on me, so I tried picking the door but could not get it quick, so I ran to the front door, and thankfully it was unlocked. I walked inside, ignored the neighbor on the couch, and followed the smoke. Turns out the bacon I had smelled at 8 a.m. along with a giant omelet were both on the stove, 3 hours later burning. I turned off both burners, took care of the burnt food, and then went to check on the neighbor. The neighbor was out. It was clear this was either alcohol or drug-related, but he was otherwise okay. I let him be and went back to my girlfriend's apartment. The neighbor woke up 15 minutes later, and we could hear him moving around just fine. He never came over to say thank you. The part where this gets messy, since I am a locksmith, I know what I just did could be considered breaking and trespassing. I am pretty sure this would be covered by Good Samaritan laws, but I wanted to avoid having it become a problem. It would be very hard to keep my job as a locksmith if I had either of those charges on my record. Later that day, I left my girlfriend's and filed a police report to cover my ass, just in case. Last night, I was at the brewery with my girlfriend, and she had planned to drive us back to her place where my vehicle was. I had been drinking enough where I was not going to drive. I told her about filing the police report, and she immediately got visibly upset and left the brewery without me shortly after. I ended up having to take a cab home and one back to my vehicle at her place this morning. My girlfriend is now telling me we need to have a talk tonight, and is otherwise giving me the cold shoulder. I can only assume she is upset that I filed the police report, and the neighbor or landlord might get upset. My question is, how can I talk to her to help her understand what I did was to protect myself and my livelihood? Also, if anyone can help me understand why she is so upset about this, I would really appreciate it. Relevant comments. Commenter 1, I can't even begin to imagine what she thinks you did wrong. Op response. That is where I am stuck too. The only thing I can think of is if she didn't want to cause a scene or get anyone in trouble, and thinks by me filing a police report I am not taking her feelings into account. Commenter 2. What are relations like with you guys and her neighbor, or her and her neighbor generally like? Neighborly? Friendly? Awkward? Op response. The neighbor I don't know, and from what she has told me she barely know. He isn't around much, but when he is you know it. Slams doors, plays loud music, and is generally that annoying neighbor you shy away from. Commenter 3. At least tell us this sort of behavior is uncommon and unusual for her. Op response. That is a good question. Normally she is steady as a rock. Lately, though, she has been less so. 2 weekends ago, she stormed out in the middle of our weekly Friends game cooking night. She came back later and apologized, but still. Update? Wow, so we just broke up. We talked for about 15 minutes on the phone, and she accused me of not taking her feelings into account. Since someone asked, we started dating off and on last summer and finally became a couple at Thanksgiving. Here is the bombshell I mentioned might be coming in the comments. We are scheduled to leave on an already paid for vacation to the Caribbean for a week together in just over 2 weeks. We talked briefly about it on the phone and decided it would be best if we gave each other some time and didn't talk about it just yet. This is where I would love some help and feedback. The relationship may not be repairable at this point, but I still think she is an amazing girl, and I want to see how much damage control I can do to prevent this from being worse for either of us than it needs to be. Relevant comments. Commenter 1, she didn't want to be with you anymore and this was the excuse. Op response. Considering the conversation I just had with her, I am inclined to agree with you. Op responds on the conversation. Op response. The conversation went like this. Her, you don't respect my feelings and I'm done. At which point I talked to her for the remaining 14.5 minutes about why she would get that impression, and trying to explain that my actions were not meant to be selfish. There was a little bit of back and forth during that time, but her argument felt to me like it had too many holes in it to be everything, and like many other people said, I think she was just looking for a way out. Update 2. After some social lubricant and talking to a lot of random people on here, and at the brewery last night, I have come to a conclusion. Even if there was more going on, like many people have surmised, the relationship is over. There is no point in me holding on to it and letting it get me down. Today is a new day. I am going to make it a good one and not look back. I know there are going to be issues with the vacation, but I will handle those as they come. I will make sure to update you all and ask for advice when I need some. Today I need some clarity and to be away from the subject, so don't expect a lot of updates today, but I will try to stop in from time to time. I also have to say thank you all for everything you have said. There are so many of you that helped me find a peace of mind that I otherwise would have had much more trouble with. A special thanks to the people at the brewery last night who, without knowing it, or not really, helped me through this. Update 3. So I'm sitting here with a close friend, and he tells me since Thanksgiving he could tell things weren't the same. This is the same person who told me she makes me a better person, and was a big part of why I dated her. I really do feel like I was blind to what was really going on, and not truly believe this is either an excuse, or the start that broke the camel's back kind of situation. Update 4. Since we broke up, we haven't talked much, but agreed to talk about how we are going to handle the Caribbean vacation tomorrow. That won't be happening, it looks like. Tonight I get an email that she canceled my flight. I started doing some digging and was able to find out that she is now going on the vacation with her ex-fiancé. You guys called it, there was more going on. I am cutting all contact with her so I can have a clean break and move on to the next part of my life. By the way, anyone know of a fun place to travel with my flight voucher from the canceled ticket? Lol, I'm in the United States.